Bill Rasmussen, the co-founder of ESPN, died this week at 93 due to the effects of Parkinson's disease. Bill, along with his son Scott, pushed through the noise that a 24-hour sports network would never work. And he took the risk anyway, maxing out his credit cards and jumping into the world of satellite television to create the first sports network in 1979. And the rest is sports history, with ESPN marking nearly 47 years of serving sports fans anytime, anywhere. ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro released the following statement. Bill was a remarkable man, a visionary, and an innovator who conceived the idea of a network entirely devoted to sports. Quite simply, none of us would be here today if it wasn't for Bill's passion and all the hard work and entrepreneurial spirit he put into building ESPN in the late 70s. Key aspects of our company culture that still carry on to this day. Now, obviously, Bill changed all of us and the way we sort of consume sports 24/7. I'm curious, how has ESPN sort of played a role for all of you guys?
I'll start. This is all I've wanted to do since I was 3 years old. And ESPN existing and the way that it grew in my life gave me a professional goal, gave me a professional purpose. I treated SportsCenter anchors when I was a kid like they were Shaq and Penny. I grew up in Orlando, so that's very high praise. I met Stuart Scott as a kid. I asked Rich Eisen for his autograph at the Super Bowl. I asked for a photo with Steve Levy and Barry Melrose at the NHL All-Star Game. These were my heroes. Without ESPN, I'd be at a bar somewhere in Coral Gables. You don't want to see the path where ESPN never existed for me. So I just, you see it right there. I mean, that was one of the best days of my young life, is being with Stuart Scott and him giving me advice and guidance on what it would take to get in the chair I'm here in right now. So it's as important as anything in my life. My family, everybody, I lost my parents in the last year, and they were, one of the things that they were so proud of was the fact that we got to ESPN all together, and I can't overstate what ESPN has meant to me in that regard.
Well, when you're a pioneer, I mean, there's very few of them, and he's one of the all-time great pioneers. I remember early on, 82, I was working all night at a gas station, self-serve, and thank God they had a TV in
Were
there.
you arguing with the customers then?
No, I was nobody knew who I was then, Mike, I promise you. And I used to watch the ESPN replay of the college basketball and the college football, which they replayed, all night long, because they did all the college football games, or a lot of them, and they certainly did all those. They loved college basketball. Put it on, and that was so important. It is something that it is a staple of our life. I mean, you almost can't, if you're a sports fan, you cannot get through your day without putting on ESPN to see what's happening. And that's the best way to put it. And he is the big reason why. So, all right, rest in peace for Bill Rasmussen. And his son was part of this, too. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
For me, I was a 11-year-old kid growing up outside of Boston in Needham, Massachusetts, and Red Auerbach made a couple incredible trades, traded the first pick in the draft, turned out to be Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale. They traded Gerald Henderson, turned out to be the late Len Bias, and I was hooked on sports. And I used to read the Boston Globe every day, the sports section, and my parents say, at some point you have to get a real job. And all I connected to was watching ESPN and big Monday nights, Big East. As you mentioned, Chris, it was on college football, college basketball. And for me, to have a passion of just living and dying with sports, I don't know what I would have ever turned to if it wasn't for ESPN in the formative years of my life.
I would just say there was never a limit to how many times you could watch SportsCenter replays. Like that, when I think of my childhood or my teen years, I think of sitting and watching SportsCenter on loop, and it didn't matter that you knew exactly what was going to happen in the games. You just did it. The Stan Verretts, the Stuart Scotts, that's what I think about. And you mentioned your parents no longer being here. I'm a big sports fan because of my dad, who we listened to Mad Dog on the radio together. So this feeling full circle, being at this desk, watching First Take as a kid, all the things, I think ESPN has clearly enriched all of our lives. So we are very thankful.